Darkness, fire, and panic. Ukrainian armed forces strikes have paralyzed Russia's rear areas. Ukrainian ironbirds have disabled Putin's industrial giants. A shock for the Kremlin. Ukrainian defenders broke through the rear and knocked out Russia's communications and energy systems. It seems Ukraine has launched a retaliation operation across all of Russia. Ukraine is breaking Russia from within. The new weapons of the Ukrainian armed forces are turning the enemy's rear into ashes, Neptunes, flamingos, and something even greater. Ukraine is creating the weapons of the future right on the front lines. I'll share all the details in just a moment. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Victoria Panchenko, and here are the latest events. Russia is on fire. A massive drone attack has struck Russia's industrial giants. The night of November 3rd to 4th turned into a nightmare for the occupiers. Drones carried out pinpoint strikes on key military targets, causing explosions and fires of unprecedented intensity. Two of Putin's strategic enterprises have ceased operations. The petrochemical plant in Bashkortostan and the oil refinery in Nizhny Novgorod were also hit. There are also reports of power outages in the Kursk region. The explosions were so powerful and intense that Rosaviatsia, which is the Russian Federal Air Transport Agency, decided to temporarily close the airports in Ufa, Kazan, and Nizhnekamsk as a precautionary measure. This action was taken to ensure the safety of passengers, airline staff, and airport operations, and it resulted in the suspension of flights and disruptions to travel in these regions while authorities assessed the situation and worked to address any potential risks caused by the blasts. A powerful explosion rocked the SNKHZ plant. The water treatment facility collapsed, and the flames could be seen for kilometers. Local residents report several sources of fire. The authorities have been forced to admit that this is not just an accident, it's a catastrophe.
Preliminarily, this video captures a fire either in the railway tank cars on the tracks or in a storage tank just to the north. At the same time, according to local residents, there are several sources of fire at the plant.
This steam isn't coming from the pipe, but right next to it from below. This is at the chemist's plant near me. Look, there's smoke right across from me. And there's another one over there. They're calling over there too. There.
Nizhny Novgorod is lit up by the glow of fires. Residents of Rostov saw flashes and a giant blaze burning in the night. According to public sources, the area burning is where two plants are located at once. Rostov and Lukoil Nizhny Novgorod Nefteorgsindes. Russians are frantically filming videos of the apocalypse over the city, clouds of smoke.
Damn, the whole sky is just red over there.
Ukrainian drones continue to set the enemy ablaze. In occupied Luhansk region, a precise strike destroyed an ammunition depot belonging to the occupiers in Dolzhansk. Fires and powerful detonations shook the entire area. Agents of the ATESH movement also made their mark. They struck at the heart of Rostov. A radio relay vehicle was destroyed right on the military airfield. This is a key element in coordinating the Russian aerospace forces. Now the occupiers are blind. The enemy's aviation is paralyzed. Another enemy substation is down. Russia is plunging into darkness. In the Kursk region, tens of thousands of consumers have lost power. The Rilsk electrical substation was hit. After that, the Frolovskaya substation near Volgograd caught fire. This is already an energy collapse.
More than 16,000 consumers in the Rylsk, Glushkovsky, and Kornevsky districts have lost power, which are powered by the Rilsk substation.
Ukraine is successfully destroying targets important to the occupier's army every day, both deep inside Russian territory and on occupied Ukrainian lands. Such strikes are constantly increasing, and we will explain what weaponry makes this possible.
Distances of hundreds or even thousands of kilometers are no obstacle for Ukrainian weapons. Russian oil refineries, well, that's obvious. The refineries are fucked. That's clear even without saying it. Key facilities of the military-industrial complex and the Russian war machine. It's a total nightmare. Things are escalating. And recently, in response to the ongoing shelling of Ukraine's civilian infrastructure, critical infrastructure in Russia has also come under the sights of the Ukrainian armed forces. No fucking way. Seriously, no fucking way. I just can't believe it. No fucking way.
Barrack, look.
Where are we going? Now that's a ride. No fucking way. When the Kremlin threatens Ukrainians with blackouts, Russians should also prepare for a cold and harsh winter. If they threaten a blackout, for example, in the capital of Ukraine, the Kremlin should realize that a blackout will also come to the Russian capital. For a long time, Western allies restricted Ukraine's ability to strike deep into Russian territory, as a result of which Ukraine built up its own long-range arsenal. According to the head of Ukrainian intelligence, Kirilo Budanov, as of today, 99% of strikes on Russian oil refineries are carried out with Ukrainian weapons.
At the time when all this started, when people said we were fighting with one hand tied behind our back, I tend to agree with your opinion that this is the correct interpretation of what was happening then. But now we have our own production, and it is precisely our domestic manufacturing that has given us the ability to use our forces and resources as we see fit. The Kremlin understands only the language of force. The best argument in any negotiations with Moscow is a powerful Ukrainian army and defense industry. In particular, our own production of long-range drones and missiles with which Ukraine regularly strikes targets in Russia located thousands of kilometers or more from the front line.
In order to somehow bring this war to a stalemate, to shift it, we need to learn not only to repel enemy attacks on the front line, but also to suppress their logistics and neutralize their aviation. That's why it became necessary, and I'm not even mentioning the need to strike at Russia's military-industrial enterprises and energy system. This is Belgorod. Basically, there's no power anywhere at all in Belgorod.
If the simplest drones to manufacture are used for strikes on Russian oil refineries, jet-powered drones like Polyanity, Peklo, and Bars are better suited for targeting military-industrial facilities. Their technical specifications are not disclosed. Experts suggest that the range of these jet-powered drones is between 500 and 700 kilometers. The main advantage is the low cost compared to cruise missile competitors.
Cities like Moscow and Leningrad, which are the most protected by the Russian Federation's air defense systems, could start getting hit every evening. Bars can reach them, and I believe this should happen in a systematic manner, ensuring that the process is thorough and consistent.
For dessert, Ukrainian long-range missiles are in store for the occupiers. The long-range Neptunes and Flamingos have ranges of 1,000 and 3,000 kilometers, respectively. The Ukrainian Pink Bird impresses not only with its enormous range, but also with a warhead weighing about 1,000 kilograms.
Usually the warhead of a modern cruise missile weighs 450, at most 500 kilograms. As a rule, almost all missiles have a warhead of 450 kilograms. What does a one-ton warhead provide? When it hits a target, for example, an industrial facility, 2 such missiles can completely disable it for at least a year. That is, there will be a single crater about 20 meters in diameter.
Russian terrorists who shell Ukrainian cities must realize that a mirrored response is inevitable.
Every voice voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Moreover, Ukraine is launching a weapons revolution. The Kremlin is terrified. The Ukrainian armed forces are reaching a new level of power. This is no longer just Neptunes and Flamingos, it's a secret technological combination. Every new model is another nightmare for the Russian rear. Engineers are working around the clock, turning ideas into deadly reality. Our Shahed is already in the skies over Russia. There is panic and chaos in the Kremlin. All the details are in our exclusive report.
Ukraine has destroyed the Russian Oreknik on Russian territory. This was announced by the head of the SBU, Vasyl Malyuk. It has not been disclosed exactly what weapon was used by the Ukrainian special services. Nevertheless, the Ukrainian arms industry is expanding significantly every year. Ukraine is successfully using Neptune and Flamingo missiles together to strike Russia. President Volodymyr Zelensky told journalists about this and noted that while this is not widespread use, there are already the first tangible results regarding these weapons.
In the future, I think that the missile attacks carried out with Flamingo or Neptune will be accompanied by a large number of different types of unmanned systems, drones, each of which will perform its own function. Some will distract air defenses, some will destroy air defenses, some will create interference, some will suppression using electronic warfare, EW.
The president also mentioned the use of the Polyanitsa missile drone, which has already struck enemy military depots dozens of times. The second positive trend Zelensky highlighted was the use of the Ruta missile drone, which for the first time flew 250 kilometers and hit an offshore platform. We
have quite a lot of development specifically in missile drones. There are analysts who say that these are all just small-sized cruise missiles. I don't quite agree with that for one simple reason. Usually a cruise missile is something that has some kind of wing mechanization. That is, the missile is launched either from the air or from the ground. Then these wings unfold and they create aerodynamic lift, which allows the cruise missile to fly long distances. Our Ukrainian rocket drones, for example, have a fixed wing that is permanently installed once and for all. And they do not require any special launchers or specialized casings that are inserted into these launchers in order to ensure standardization.
However, the greatest success of the Ukrainians is considered to be the mass use of the kamikaze Lyuty drone, which numbered up to 300 UAVs.
Lyuty is a system with a slightly different concept. It has nothing in common with the Shahed, neither externally nor internally. Both the control system, the guidance system, and the components it has, including image recognition for targeting, artificial intelligence, they have absolutely nothing in common with the Shaheds. In
the combat payload and range, the security service of Ukraine's naval drones have improved, now capable of striking targets over 1,500 kilometers away. They were first used in 2022 during the attack on Russian Black Sea Fleet ships in Sevastopol Bay. And since then, these drones have been constantly evolving and improving. The way
of destruction available to our security service of Ukraine has increased significantly compared to before. And it's not just the Malyuk anymore, there are many other things as well. If there are tasks for the Malyuks are used. If there are tasks for other drones are used. Since
August of this year, it has been announced that the serial production of the Flamingo missile has begun, which is capable of striking targets at a distance of 3,000 kilometers. The modernized Neptune has been successfully striking ground targets for a year now, currently at a range of up to 400 kilometers. It has been announced
that very soon it will be able to hit targets at a distance of 1,000 kilometers away.